Welcome to the Profits and Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle D, or Coach Danni D, and I help women entrepreneurs and professionals to achieve their personal success stories that include joy, fulfillment, and balance. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease, be successful, and enjoy your life. My happy place is spending as much time in my PJs as humanly possible. And I want to help other women find their happy space while running profitable businesses or having a successful career. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello, it is Coach Danni D with Profits and Pajamas Podcast. I'm here always trying to help you find that space of balance, joy, fulfillment so that you can be living your best life today and not waiting on some whatever it is to happen to decide that you're worthy of living your best life. So, today I wanted to get into something. I actually was watching something on TV last night, and the character was agonizing about making a life decision. And then the character on this show was the life decision was about college, right? I'm saying that because I want you to get the age of the character. And they were struggling with expectation versus what they actually wanted, right? And I'm purposely being vague because I don't want to spoil it for anybody on any particular show that they're watching. I just wanted to get to this point. As I was watching the situation unfold, it brought to mind the concept of success and what success looks like. I talk about redefining success a lot, making sure that your success path is unique to you. But in life, we are faced with a lot of different pressures to follow a certain path, and that's what success looks like. And oftentimes we follow that path blindly, right? Like, people say, hey, you want to be a such and such. Okay, great. This is what success looks like. Go. And we just go down that road and we don't think about how that fits us, how it may serve us, how it may not be serving us. We just continue down that road and we just go towards what someone else has told us success looks like. And sometimes I think it's more about proving a point than what I really want to get to today is what if the goal was happiness or fulfillment or joy, right? What if that was the goal? What if that was the goal instead of, conquering the next level? Because I think that's why a lot of times, you pursue something and you complete something and you still feel empty. And you still feel like you have to, jump from that to the next thing because it it doesn't give you any sense of satisfaction. Now, in saying that, I know that, life keeps going. We continue to grow, evolve, level up. I'm not saying that, you get to a place and you just sit there and stop, unless that's the place. I don't know. Maybe that's the destination that you were headed towards. But life is going to keep going and you're going to continue to, to live it and do things. But are you doing it in pursuit of happiness? Are you doing it in pursuit of, quote unquote, winning? sometimes winning is more about what it looks like on the outside than the inside. So in this particular instance, the character was looking at going to a prestigious school where they were going to be forced into this whole, like, continued performance of excellence. But it wasn't what was making them happy. And they actually had a history of anxiety and all this other stuff. So a lot of times we're putting ourselves in that situation. And I know I've done that before where I've put myself in a situation where it was more about proving that I could do it than it was about me being interested in doing it, right? When do we stop? When do we stop that? And when do we start focusing on what brings us um, happiness, joy, fulfillment? What is our purpose work, right? My purpose work is, very clear to me in this moment in my life. It hasn't always been, but it is now. There's some things that I could do, right, within the realm of that purpose work, but they're not pertinent to me accomplishing my mission. They're just auxiliary. Um, they're things that, I could put on a resume, but they're not necessarily pertinent to what I'm doing. So why am I pressuring myself to do that? To prove to someone else? That's the question, right? And that's not saying not to shoot for the stars, but shoot for the stars because you want the stars, not because you want people to see that you can get the stars, if that makes sense. So I want to frame the conversation around happiness and fulfillment, around joy. Because as a mother, I was thinking about my child who is in school now and thinking about how much I want for him to have those things, right? I want for him, yes, I want him to be a productive member of society, but I already know I set him up to be that. But I want for him to be happy and fulfilled. I don't want him to just go through the motions because that's what's there, or just prove a point to just say that he has proven a point. I want him to be happy. I know, it's come up a lot, especially as entrepreneurs. I've seen it so often that as entrepreneurs, we have a tendency, we want to leave that legacy, right? We want to leave the legacy. And a lot of times we attach the legacy to our children taking over what we've built. And I've had some interesting conversations with people around that because it seems to be a popular belief of I'm building this up for my kids to take it over. I know that my child has absolutely no desire to take over my business. Zero. I know what his path is. I know what he wants. I want that for him because I want him to be happy. It's not about uh accolade. It's not about a dollar amount. Do I want him to be secure? Of course. Do I want him to be able to sustain himself? Absolutely. But I also want him to be happy. And so, whatever that may look like, I want him to be happy. I also want to challenge the idea, like a lot of people think that, you know, oh, well, happiness doesn't pay the bills. And happiness alone does not pay the bills, right? Of course. But there are people who are wildly successful in non-traditional fields or in, and happiness does not necessarily mean non-traditional. I'm just saying They're people who have taken their own path in a particular, area, industry, whatever it is, and have found wild success because they leaned in to their personal success story. It's not about whether or not you follow the paved road. It's about what you put into what direction you go in, right? So you can put all your energy, eggs into making sure that you are reaching your success story and you'll get there. And it may look different than the person next to you, right? Because the person next to you may be solely looking at the predefined metrics. Maybe you passed on one of those, bigger accounts because a part of your success story is being balanced, or a part of your success story is being able to spend time with your family. So maybe you made different decisions. That does not make your success less valid, right? So let's readjust and let's look at happiness as success. And that is inclusive of your professional goals, right? Because it doesn't mean that I don't still have deadlines and things and work that I have to do, right? And some things that I don't enjoy. That doesn't mean that I'm not overall happy. I'm actually the happiest when I am in my purpose work, right? I mean, not saying that I'm not happy. I'm not comparing that to being with family, but I enjoy being in my purpose work. It makes me extremely happy, even at times when I'm doing parts of it that are not my favorite thing. But that is a part of my happiness, is doing the work because I enjoy the work that I'm doing. So I want you to just reframe your idea of success and make sure that you are included in that your happiness is included in that, and that you understand that that does not mean that you can't hit your goals, that you can't be successful. It just means that it's going to look a little bit different than the next person. It's going to look different than the path that you were given. It's going to be, modified. You modify some things to fit what is meaningful to you. And that doesn't have to match the next person. So to somebody, their thing that's meaningful may not be your thing. And that's okay. That's absolutely okay. Like you may be focused on incorporating me time, whereas somebody else may be focused on, incorporating family time. Somebody might be trying to do both, right? There's no one way. There's your way. And you deserve to have that. And you deserve to have that happiness. And, I want to touch on that idea of legacy. Like I talked about transferring, the business looking like legacy, or your child going to your alma mater may look like legacy to you. For me, what I've learned, um, through this journey is that legacy looks like seeing my child make decisions that are better for him as a whole human being. Seeing my child reap the fruit of the self work that I've done, the changes that I've done, that he's actively watched happen in his life. Seeing him move and operate differently is the legacy. That's my legacy. That is the legacy that I want to leave, is that, feeling comfortable knowing that he is building a life that is both happy and successful. Recently, I was just texting, checking on him. And he's been, he's a very dedicated student. And so he's been dedicated to his work and to his extracurriculars. And I've been reminding him that he's supposed to also have fun. And I know that's not the typical reminder from a parent, but that's my reminder. You're also supposed to have fun. You're also supposed to rest. And so now when he gives me an update, he says, "Oh, mom, I did X, Y, and Z, but I also hung out with my friends." And I love to hear that, because that lets me know that he hears what I'm saying and that he is catching the things that, unfortunately, when I work with clients, most of my clients are, you know, 35 plus. And when I'm working with clients, they are trying to undo so much. But I feel like the most beautiful legacy is for us to do that undoing work so our children can just be. So that's, I think, where I'm gonna leave y'all. So I want you to start thinking about what happiness looks like for you and how happiness can be your goal. How does that shift how you're about to move? How does that change some of the things that are in front of you, that you have as goals, right? Maybe some things are not going to make the cut, and maybe some other things are going to get your attention in a way that you haven't given it in a while. That's what I'm going to leave y'all. So I can't leave without sharing some, big news. If you follow me, you already know. But behind me, this girl right here. Okay, so this is my first solo book project. Yes, I have the journal, but that's, it's a journal. It's not like a full like book project, right? Look at this girl. She is beautiful. I'm so grateful to Lisa Woodson and her son makes these beautiful, beautiful covers. I mean, amazing. He took the vision that I had him, took it like next level. Lisa has been my writing coach, as well as just facilitating this entire process. So, I do want to give a shout out to her. This beautiful lady is going to be available on December 16th, but she is up for pre-order in paperback and an ebook. So if you haven't gotten your copy, please go ahead and get that copy so we can push her up to number one new release. I am so excited. I put so much into writing this book, and I want it to be something that helps us all find our worth, find our voice, be able to move confidently. I talk a lot about external and internal confidence. I want that inner voice. I want to switch her up. I want her to be speaking life love to us so that we can walk in success and happiness, right? So I'm excited about that. So on Tuesday, December 16th, um, she will be released. I am doing a book signing here locally, so I will put the link to that in the show notes. Make sure, if you are local, make sure you go ahead and sign up for that. We are going to have an amazing time. One, we're celebrating. I love to celebrate accomplishments and wins. So we're going to be celebrating first and foremost. We're going to be, I'm going to be signing copies of the book at this event. we are also going to have a fireside chat conversation. So we're going to discuss some of the themes of the book and, talk about confidence and imposter syndrome and all of those things that are, either blocking us from moving to the next level or that we need to build to get there. So I can't wait for that conversation, just to unpack some of the things that are inside of the book. So I want to see you there. I really, really do. I have conversations on a daily basis with women about imposter syndrome and confidence. And it's always funny to me because it never comes out in that way. It's always another conversation, but that's the undertone. And so let's bring it to the forefront. Let's address it. Let's deal with it so that we can truly walk in that purpose work. Because a lot of us are, again, we're walking down that path that was handed to us as this is how you succeed in this lane. But we're not dealing with that one part of us that is a little scary, a little terrifying, because it makes us have to be bigger than we feel like we can be. We're not dealing with that. So let's unpack it. Let's unpack it. Let's get on that journey so that we can get into our purpose work and just change the world because this world definitely could use some changing. So that's the big thing that I have going on right now is that release. I have another project that's coming up behind it, so I can't stay on here with y'all much longer because I have a deadline to meet. But get your copy if you're especially if you're not able to attend the book signing, go ahead and get your copy. You can order it on Amazon, but I will put the link in the show notes. Get your copy. Also, if you are local and you are available on Tuesday, come to the event. The event includes a copy of the book. So make sure that you get your tickets and you show up for the event. I'm going to go and I will see you guys next week. Thanks for listening to the Prophets in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with these. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. For more information about creating balance in your life, register for my upcoming calendar detox challenge at CoachDanniD.com. Don't forget to subscribe, join the community, and book a call to find the workflow program that best fits your needs.